Vive la France! Vive la France! Vive la France! Check this shit out. French Parliament votes to enshrine the right to abortion in their constitution, becoming the first country in the world to do so. Holy shit. Actually, I'm going to go to comments for this shit. This is just too good. God. And it was an overwhelming landslide in votes in favor of it. The Europeans, they don't play when it comes to the rights of their people over the preferences of certain special interest groups. Here are the voting results for the Constitution. Number of voters, 902. Number of votes cast, 852. Majority required for project adoption of the constitutional law is 3/5 of the votes cast. So we would need at least 512. For adoption, 780. Against is 72. I'd like to thank you. Thank you for them. Congress passed this constitutional bill on the freedom to have recourse to voluntary interruption of any pregnancy. Approved by a majority of at least 3/5 of the votes cast. I will be forwarded to the President of the Republic. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned. "85% of the public in France supported this reform. Vote deputies and senator combined, 784. Out of 852 votes given. Reasonable as long as there are exceptions for health. We're not talking about exceptions. Don't you fucking get it? There is no more question of exceptions. Who likes it? Who doesn't like it? Who wants it? Who doesn't want it? What your God says, what your Bible tells you, and what you tell every woman around you. France has permanently codified the right for women to have abortion, the right for them to have the final say on their reproductive health. First country in the world to make this loud and clear. In France, it no longer matters what anybody likes or doesn't like, what you want or don't want. What are the exceptions? How does this work? What are the details? Is this after so many weeks, or how does it work? No. The resolution passed. It's codified into their country's constitution. You don't get to ask what the details are. It's none of your business what the details are. This law this resolution that is now being enshrined into their constitution says that women reserve the right to have the final say on their reproductive health. There is no more argument. Nobody cares what you like. Nobody cares what you don't like. Nobody cares about your religion. Nobody cares about your God. There's no point in trying to protest. It's pointless. This is how it is. Women in their country get the right to bodily autonomy. Period. That's it. It's done. It's over with. 85% of their country who understand what civil rights means and what human rights means are the reason for the passing of this resolution. But of course, in America, the French are supposed to be the pussies, remember? The French are the ones that don't understand what real freedom is. The French. The French who go out en masse, not just a group of crazy motherfuckers trying to smear shit like monkeys all over the Capitol building. Everybody in France, everybody goes out in protest. They go out in protest. They refuse to work. Their entire economy, their entire country stops when everybody bands together and goes out to protest something. And what are the types of things that they protest in France? Making a national holiday into a work day. That's what they protest over. Wanting to raise, that was the last thing you probably heard about. The whole goddamn country went out in solidarity, ground their country to a halt for days. I think it was even weeks. And why was everybody in the country protesting? They were thinking of raising the limit for retirement by 2 years. You know what this age raise would have resulted in? Being able to retire at 64 instead of 62. In the United States, it's widely considered the age of retirement. It's supposed to be 65. I think they raised it to 67. I don't know if it varies by state or if it's a national thing, but for a long time, the age of retirement was considered 65. I believe, at least in some areas, they're considering it 67. France's age of retirement was 60 fucking 2. And these people raised hell from border to border because they were kind of sort of thinking of raising it to 64. That's what they protest over. And when people in France protest, it's not just a group of people protesting out of hate. People in France aren't protesting in small little clusters, which really isn't a protest. It's just causing a disturbance over cockamamie stupid shit like I don't like these people going to my school. I don't like these books in my library. I don't like the idea of women being able to make decisions when it comes to their uterus. No. People in France actually all know. It's like they're all aware of what's not just in their best interest, but in the best interest of their neighbors and their friends and their family and their country as a whole. They all understand what's right and what's wrong. You protest to get more rights, not to take rights away from people. You protest because you want more vacation time. You want higher pay. You want corrupt individuals out of your police departments, out of your public offices, out of your schools. You protest so that every child has a lunch when they go to school. You protest because rights are being taken away from people. And that's why they all go out to protest, the whole goddamn country. 85% of them. Stop everything. I believe with that retirement thing, that's something else that really gets me. I believe they actually physically removed him from his office. They threatened to pick him up and physically throw him into a goddamn ditch. Because after a while, all these protests, and this guy wasn't backing down, it's like, yeah, this is your opportunity to make good with what the vast majority of the people you represent are telling you to do. And because you're not doing it, you're going to have to physically be thrown out. We, the people, are telling you, you now no longer have a job. And then, news and everything kind of dropped off, and I don't know if that particular politician ended up resigning or what the hell was going on. But I didn't hear much of anything about it after that. I would assume he did. I would assume he did because over there in France, the people they'll outright chop off your fucking head if you try to screw with their basic civil and human rights over there. They saw it happen. And something else that's really sad about this, France, you better believe France did this because they see the shitstorm that's going on over here. They see how far backwards the wrong people are taking us in this country. There's no way they're ever gonna let that happen over there. And I've actually heard this verbatim from people in other countries. A lot of people understand with the internet age and everything, they understand now the rights and the freedoms and the protections that people in other advanced nations get that we don't. And they cannot believe how backwards Americans really are. While we bust our asses into every meeting room and say we're the greatest fuckers here. They don't understand it. But I have also heard various documentaries. I remember the Michael Moore capitalism documentary, his sicko healthcare documentary. I think Louis Theroux touched on it one time. People in countries like Canada and Sweden and France and Finland and whatnot, they will outright say to Americans, we would never tolerate anything like that in this country. Never. I think it was Capitalism, a Love Story, where Michael Moore was talking to a couple of Finnish police. That whole thing going around the internet on how nice their prison cells are. because they treat human beings like human beings and everything. He actually was speaking to a couple of their cops, and they said people in this country would never tolerate that type of behavior from police here. The crap that happens in your country, we'd be thrown out on our asses before the shift was done. People in this country, they would never allow something like that. We would not be able to sleep at night if our conscience didn't constantly remind us. We would never put in jeopardy the safety, the security, and the basic human dignity of other people. Why the hell would we have these jobs if we didn't understand those very simple human tenets when it comes to behavior and conscience? How the hell could you do that? I don't know how you people survive. And I felt like Michael Moore was feeling. It was kind of a funny thing. I thought they should have had a donkey hee-haw sound effect in that movie, because he's speaking to all these people in all these different countries who are talking to him about all these wonderful things their people have in their lives that we don't get in America. And then you have that, it's really funny, you have that shot of Michael Moore's face just like looking dumber than Tucker Carlson catching flies. They should have had the hee-haw sound effect in there, because I felt exactly the way he was trying to act in that documentary, like an asshole, like a complete fucking idiot. And of course, that was part of the documentary. You're supposed to feel like a fucking idiot. You're supposed to feel like an idiot, knowing that in France, nobody is allowed to make your holiday into a work day. Nobody is allowed to not give you a lunch break. In Sweden, nobody is allowed to pay you anything less than a livable wage. In Finland, they don't have sweatshops, and nobody pays for tuition. All this bullshit that these countries get that we don't. And they talk like it's just common sense. How the fuck could you, as an American, stand up for a second and even think of telling anybody else that you're some beacon of freedom? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know what? Maybe Donald Trump is the perfect president for a country like ours, because he actually does embody all the things that this country is about. Hot fucking air, undeserved bravado, complete sociopathy, no real feelings or regard for anybody else other than himself. Wants to fuck everything that moves with no consequences. No respect for the sanctity or meaning behind anything that is supposed to be sacred. Not marriage, not father-daughter relationships, not husband-wife relationships, not the relationships with your children and your grandchildren. Nothing. And you know what? Not for the reason maggots think it is, but yeah, I'd say he probably is the perfect representation of America. Just rotten from the inside out, completely fake, complete psychotic, going senile, shitting his pants, strutting his stuff like nobody can smell him. Yeah. Powerful photo. We're fortunate to have a man of God back in the Oval Office. That's another really important thing. People are so fucking stupid, they really don't understand how stupid they are. You've got white evangelical Baptist Southern Protestants literally worshiping this guy like he's God. They don't even understand how completely full of shit this makes them and their religion look. They give a bad name to Christians. They do. And no wonder so many people are leaving their churches. No wonder the secular and atheistic and non-religious are the largest minority group in this country, outnumbering blacks, outnumbering Jews, outnumbering LGBTQ. If that gives you an idea of how many secular, atheistic, non-religious people are in this country right now. I think like years ago when that altar boy sex abuse Catholic Church scandal dropped, those in line training to become members of the priesthood, I believe they dropped to like under 5 a year. I'm not kidding. Like 1 year, back in the late 2000s, I think, they had three men in the seminary to become priests in this entire country. I shit you not. And I'm sure it hasn't changed over the years. They don't even have half a dozen guys at a time, year by year, training in seminaries to become priests anymore. None of these religious freaks ever bring that up. And this is part of the reason why they are fucking themselves and they're fucking their own religion. If Christianity ends up going by the wayside, and it's completely gone, like you have less than maybe a few 100,000 Christians, practicing Christians in this country in a very short time, it isn't going to be because there's a war on Christianity. It isn't going to be because gay people are evil and cast magic spells. It isn't going to be because women now own their own bodies completely and it gives them some sort of fallopian magical powers that kill Christ over and over again every day. It's because of them. This bullshit right here is part of the reason Christianity is dying in this country. And it's going to flounder until it's nothing but some dead fish flopping around on the pier side, gasping for air. It's going to become that because of bullshit like this. Many other reasons, but bullshit like this. This has to be photoshopped because as of yesterday, Jesus from the Middle East would not have even been allowed in the United States. And if Trumpykins gets in again, he's going to do even worse to all the people of the Middle East, or anyone who isn't a Nordic fucking blonde with fake tits. This is the reason nobody wants to follow your religion. It's not the gays. It's not women like me. It's not the growing number of newer generations and the dying population of boomers. It's not because of books featuring two mommies and two daddies. It's not because of Democrats. It's not because Obama was black. It's not because of Joe Biden. It's because of you. Ah, and the Supreme Court, obviously, as everybody knows, has decided really fucking quick that states do not have the right to unilaterally disqualify Donald Trump from the ballot. We all knew this was coming. We all knew this was coming, but yeah, they sure showed us how quickly they can move on an issue when they want to. And gee, let states decide on abortion, but don't let states decide on what insurrection is. Yeah. Supreme Court rules states can't kick Trump off the ballot. And just like that, the federal government rights are more important than the states' rights. Some guy on here had said, you just know that if red states were kicking Joe Biden off the ballot, the Supreme Court wouldn't do shit to reverse that decision. And then they would all be reassured that states' rights are definitely a thing that need to be respected and proliferated. But of course, these idiots are so up the ass and in the pocket of Donald Trump, they don't even realize what they just did. I bet they don't. They don't realize that when they say this, they're saying states' rights are not a thing. The federal law trumps state law, which is how it's supposed to be. Thank you for reminding us. I seriously doubt Donald Trump has a chance in hell, even if he were on the ballot in every state, but thanks for reminding us. It'll make things easier for us later. Supreme Court made it clear today that states cannot disenfranchise voters, only women. Yeah, that's kind of cute, except you're leaving out the part where women like me are voters. I get what you're trying to say, Jack Smith, but let me just remind you, in case you may have forgotten, the women in this country are voters. We actually, I think women are like 51, 52% of this country. My gender can make or break anyone. Never forget that. It's like when John Taffer said about having a bar. You have to cater to women. You have to cater to women or your bar is fucked. It's dead. Doesn't matter what men think or what men say. Where women go, men follow. You better make your women customers happy, or they will destroy your business. Grand opening, grand closing. It goes for voting too. Trump's White House was awash in speed and Xanax. Well, we know this. Ew. What? Lauren Boebert washing her feet in a public washroom sink? Just like a lot of Muslim students back at college. And then people got all pissed off that the colleges were thinking of adding foot washing stations for Muslim students in the school because the Muslim students kept washing their feet in the bathroom sinks. Somebody should remind Bobo that she's just like disenfranchised Islamic students. And then she'll stop sticking her fucking dogs in the washroom sinks. Duh. God, she's so fucking nasty. It doesn't matter the salary that she's been so lucky enough to get with this position, that up until a few short years ago, she would never have a snowball's chance in hell of getting close to obtaining. Forget about the fake teeth. Forget about the designer clothes and the people doing her hair. She still looks like I'd catch something from her if I touched her. Jesus Christ. This woman should be selling fruit by the roadside. She should have a name tag and a little paper hat and be selling hot dogs or muffins at Tim Hortons or, ugh. You know, I never really look at a person and say things like that about them, but for her, I'll say it and I'll repeat it ad nauseum. Conservatives are capable of endless cognitive dissonance. They freaked out because Obama wore a tan suit. And I'm not even going to compare that with all the things Trump has done. If a former Democratic congressperson were pictured doing this, holy shit, it would be nonstop coverage on Fox for weeks. Speculation would run rampant on if this is the end of the social fabric of America. Call for congressional inquiries, and maybe we need laws to make using the sinks and bathrooms illegal. Case in point, how they freak out because Obama wore a tan suit. Let me rephrase that. Wore a tan suit while being black. Knew how to cultivate an image because Reagan was an actor. He knew how to take direction, knew how to put a smile on his face and act all nice like he knew what he was doing while other people were busy telling him what to do. That's the whole reason we started having major deregulation in the business sector. Reaganomics. That's where it all started. More money to the rich, less to the poor, and it'll all just trickle down to us peons. Yeah, Melania did softcore porn and was literally some poor immigrant working illegally. Not one peep out of them about it. AOC was caught dancing in a video during college. Not even not even adult. And by their reaction, it's like she had videos on Pornhub. And they'll go on about how stupid she is despite being incredibly well educated, having an economics degree, and earning her way going from waiting tables to a position in Congress. Yeah, but they'll praise Bobo, who failed 3 GEDs and got into Congress. She's a genius. Yeah, you know, I can only imagine if these people tried to run for office in a country like France. I honestly believe a quarter of the shit we've been seeing in recent years, and by recent years, I mean since Trump, since Trump opened these floodgates to stupidity and psychopathy and incompetence becoming the norm uh, in public office. And not just becoming the norm, because I'm sure tons of politicians have the IQ of a great nut. I mean, to let it all hang out. Trump made dumb ass stupid people feel good about letting their worst aspects fly free. That's the extent of freedom in his America. Let's put it that way. Oop, my Starbones is here. I will be right back in a few minutes. Ugh. Ugh. Where's my bones? Hey. I think that's him. Over here, dipshit. Come around the block, dipshit. Oh my god. got my bones. Got my bones. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Sorry about that. Damn drivers. Nobody knows how to get to my apartment. I don't know about you, but Clarence Thomas deciding if Trump has immunity for attempting a coup that Ginny Thomas helped plan doesn't sit well with me. Look at these ugly bastards. Oh, did you see this? A 16-year-old lifted 3.25 times his body weight, setting some record. Yeah, bro. 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 Uh-oh, attempted murder. What is this? Wildly bad drivers. I have developed a little bit of a phobia since my car accident. I need to see a therapist about it, but I will still watch these videos even though I cringe. Let's see if there's a mirror because, fuck Reddit. Ooh, I like the dark Reddit better than the light Reddit. Blah, 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 blah. No, I don't see a mirror. Yeah, this is a common sight on the highway. You'll have two trucks. They try to match each other's speed perfectly. It actually keeps other drivers going the right speed. Ho, 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 ho. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. No, no. That's it. This is what I clicked on this shit for. Old man yells at cloud. Blah, 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 blah. Nikki Haley wins the Republican primary in D.C. Holy shit. She got twice as many votes as Trump. I still wouldn't want her in the position of president. Fuck that shit. I don't care how nice the Republican candidate tries to speak. I don't care how smart you think they sound. I don't care what platitudes they give you. They're all fucking rotten. Cops try to murder somebody. Cops vandalizing people's property. Cops are bastards. Cops are dumb pigs. Blah, blah, blah. What else is new? Dumbass maggot. Hack comedian. Ooh, now this is interesting. Female wrestler slaps the shit out of a guy for touching her butt. Ooh. Ooh, a mirror. Let's hope it actually works. And the slow motion. Let's watch that again, shall we? And it's funny. The money I have to pay to get slapped around like that. Little bunny on a pole. Aww, with bears watching. Man loses his mind over somebody doing the speed limit and lightly tapping the brakes to avoid speeding. Well, we've got the Lolita stickers on there. Typical anime pedophile sitting right here, so it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I'd say he's in the wrong. Why you got hentai stickers in your car? Randomly stuck all over. Sticky on both sides. Average Redditor. Brought to you by sexual frustration. That lower one is a bit concerning. Goo Mobile. On the outside, it would be aesthetic. On the inside, you're just a turbo gooner. Also, one of those looks suspiciously like a child in a bathing suit. Yeah, I'm so turned off, I'm not even going to watch his video. Blah, 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 blah. More trash, more Israelis taking over Palestinian homes. Oh, I see a cowboy hat and a purple tie. Yes, give me mirrors. Reddit knows why they make mirrors available.
Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah.
See, this is the reason I don't ever want to hear anybody try to threaten me or anybody else about how you're supposed to talk to police.
Why?
Fuck you. A grenade in an Uber. So, like, if you leave the doors closed and don't let anyone near the car, women with tattoos yell and scream the loudest during sex. This is because they're not in touch with their femininity. They try to connect with their soul, which is already damaged. These are the women who want to be licked on their vagina to jumpstart their dead voltaic batteries. Their sexuality is horribly filled with impurities. Way to tell the world you can't satisfy a woman with tattoos. Yeah, this is a guy who went after a woman covered with tattoos, probably thinking it meant she was easy, and got bitched at because he couldn't get her off. Or he wouldn't be able to get her off, so she just rejected him. Tim Pool, everyone. Woke agenda ended my sex life. You know, that or the 500 cartons of Oreos. Great. This is awesome. Elon Musk says, put never went to therapy on my gravestone. This fake masculine tweet is going to cause someone to forego needed help. It may cost them their life. So, just in case that person may see my post, therapy saved my life, it might save yours. And if this is about masculinity, I am pretty certain I'm more manly than Elon in every regard. Let's say that's true. By that logic, anyone who isn't as rich as Elon Musk would be more manly than he is in every regard. Because never went to therapy doesn't mean he doesn't need therapy, because I think he seriously does. And this is just going by his tweets. But, you know, it's easy to forego things that other normal people need to survive and get along in this world when you have like 200 billion fucking dollars in your bank account. Yeah. If I had a shit ton of money in my bank account, I could give a fuck what anybody thinks is wrong with me. Okay? I don't need to pay for any therapy. I pay the therapist to tell me I'm the best fucking person in the world. That's what my money would get me. I'd open a fucking school where therapists are taught that I am a god. And everything I do is the pinnacle of human perfection. And therefore, I would not need therapy. Therapists come to me for jobs and money and their credentials because I own them, because I would own everything. You know, for normal people, you need to get therapy. Normal people need to learn to get along in the reality of the world we live in. People like Elon Musk don't. They never did. They will never be in touch with the reality of the world. And isn't this the type of thing that's just so ironic? Is that if he really wanted knowledge, if he really wanted insight, if he really wanted wisdom, he'd drop the money and he'd try living. Even if it was just for a year, he'd try living the way other people live so that he could actually learn something about the reality of the universe that he's in. Of course, he ain't never going to do that. He would rather keep the money, continue not to struggle a day in his life, and just tell everybody he's perfect and brilliant and that he's an engineer and an inventor. And you're supposed to love him. U.S. Air Force employee charged with giving classified information to woman he met on dating site. You know, what the hell is this garbage? Yo, that dude who's destroying Pride merchandise at Target is on Grindr. Every single time. Yeah, yeah, we can tell you're mad. Every once in a while, political humor gets these fucking dumbass right-wing maggot cretins on there posting nonsensical meme bullshit about how horrible Democrats and Biden are. And it's so pathetic. And look at this. Atheists are now deep frying aborted embryos and dipping them in hot sauce. Why is this not front page news? Of course, it's completely fake. think about that. Think about think about how little that chicken nugget is, and imagining people deciding to have abortions to pull out embryos like that big so they can fry them and cook it up so they can have one chicken nugget this big. And these idiots look at this obviously photoshopped image and they believe that shit. You know, there was one of those Asian horror movies. It was part of a compilation of horror tales. It was called Dumplings. That was the point of that particular installment. This Chinese woman would go to the special cook who would like fry up aborted fetuses into dumplings, and the woman would go there every week and pay a hefty price for an aborted fetus dumpling meal because it reversed her aging process. And of course, it's a horror movie for a reason. Um, and you hear a lot of shit like this right here. Uh, all of this shit going around about how people are getting abortions so that they can be young and shit like that. And they're so fucking stupid. They don't realize, you know, we've been there and done that with horror movies. It's not a new concept. And no, nobody's doing that. And for the record, if cooking and eating aborted fetuses did make you younger, I know you'd be the first in line. If cooking and eating aborted fetuses meant it could cure all your diseases, you'd go running to that cook. And why am I saying this? Because that's just how fucking stupid and inhumane you are. You don't care about your religion. You don't care about children. You don't care about women. You don't care about people's problems. You care about yourself. Like those people with, I don't want to get vaccinated. They're putting stuff in medicine. Okay. You're not allowed to go to doctors and hospitals anymore. No, wait, you're trying to stop my freedom. You said you don't believe in this shit. So when you end up getting some degenerative eye disease, when you get COVID, when you get shot in the gut and you need help, go pray. See if your church will take you in. Because you're not getting ahead of me in line at my hospital. I don't subscribe to your warped, uh, fucked up brand of religion. And I don't want you taking up time and space at my hospital. The medical industry is hard enough on people like me in this country. So you don't like medicine, you don't like big pharma, you don't like whatever. Vaccinations bother you. God, God, Jesus, Bible, God, Jesus, Bible. Go the fuck to church when you need medical help. Or stay the fuck at home. Be like a Christian Scientist, because that's what Christian Scientists believe. They don't believe in medical care. So you're kind of dragging Christian Science into your evangelicalism or whatever the fuck it is, Baptist, uh, Protestant bullshit, what the fuck ever you believe in. You're conflating everything from all these different sects of Christianity when it suits you. God, how fucking awesome would it be? How much quicker the wait times would go? How much better quality care we could get? How much longer we could live over these motherfuckers? You want a Christian nation? Be very careful what you wish for. Because you know what? If I ran for president, I'll give you a Christian nation. I'll give you a Christian nation. You believe in this, that, and the other thing? It is now against the law for you to deviate from those things. You don't believe in women's bodily autonomy? Now you don't have any. You love the Bible so much, you're only allowed to buy and wear certain clothes. You're not allowed to go to my hospitals. You're not allowed to get my precious vaccines. You're not allowed to stand in front of me in line at the pharmacy. Modern medicine is not for you. You wanted a Christian nation. You wanted to live by the tenets of the Christian God. So that's what you're going to get. And the rest of us who don't want to don't have to live in a Christian nation. You wanted a Christian nation. So now for you, this is a Christian nation. Never have to worry about doctors. Never have to see them because you're not allowed to go to them. Never have to worry about abortions because now you're not allowed to see those doctors. Very simple. Very simple. Christian nation for you, free nation for everybody else. Okay, I'm out. My star bones is melting, and it's time for some more World War Z. I'll see ya.